No one thought he was this like malcontent or like a bag. It wasn't.
That was the word.
That was kind of what was being said. That was kind of
100 miles an hour. All you fanboys, go ahead. Manziel, Baker, Deshaun Watson.
Now y'all are trying to backpedal.
Up to him, I made some, not great choices.
We all know that Shedeur Sanders had a fit of Fast and Furious over the weekend, but it's news that has now come out that this isn't the first ticket he's got this month. Now, we do have to address this because I addressed it in the other video. It's on the live stream. Y'all can go watch it. But just to dead this here, dog, I'm a Shedeur fan. I'm not going to cop pleas for him going that fast and now having 2 tickets in XYZ. But what we're also not going to do is act like he's some terrible person or that somehow these tickets are a vindication of all that craziness y'all were talking in the draft process. And that's what this video is really about, because I went off on another video about Peter Schrager lying and changing the narrative. So I'm about to show you the receipts on draft night, what they were calling Shedeur Sanders. And then we're going to listen to Schrager. We're going to listen to Stephen A. Smith, their opinions on the changing narrative, as well as a little bit on this ticket. So let's hop in with Stephen A. Smith. He's going to give a small little step here.
You know who you are. You know what your pedigree is. You got to watch yourself. But in the same breath, y'all, when it comes to speeding, I mean, damn, there's a whole bunch of us, regardless of age. That ain't got nothing to do with maturity. A whole bunch of us make those mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much that needs to be said. I know Coach Prime was probably in his ear. I know that. I know that his, you know what I'm saying, like on some real stuff, just on some like parent, like whatever, dog. Not only are you embarrassing yourself because people are waiting for an opportunity, and then on top of that, dog, as Coach Prime, I'm your father, dog. I can't have you out here even dealing with cops or just going 100 miles or doing all that stuff. So it don't need to be overstated, dog. Don't drive too fast. But at the same time, a lot of y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen to y'all parents anyway. Y'all, you a grown adult. You don't be listening to y'all parents. I know. That's how you got in this place in the first place. But anyway, let's get to the meat and the potatoes and how they're going to use this to go against people. Because remember, this is the video that set me off in the other video. And it's when Peter Schrager said certain things.
always coming out of Shedeur Sanders.
Just listen.
I'm like, kind of looks like a guy.
Yeah, I'm reading.
He can sling it.
Read the I see him, some of the veterans, how they talk to him, mic'd up, see what he's doing in the community.
You talking about Njoku there?
Njoku, mic'd up. Yeah, once you see, different little interactions and things like that, I know he has the talent. We'll see. It'll be a competition that usually brings the best out of guys, especially young guys. So I'm interested to see how that quarterback situation.
I've heard he's been outstanding in the building, and I don't know. There was never no one thought he was this like malcontent or like a bag. It wasn't.
That was the word.
That was kind of what was being said. That was kind of what was being said.
No. The pre-draft process was so unorthodox that he didn't go through it all.
All right, so we've already watched this. We're in here, but that important thing. This is the narrative being switched now, and this is so important that this is not the first time Peter Schrager has tried this out, right? Because you got to understand with propaganda, with media, with if I'm trying to get you to believe something, sometimes you got to say it multiple times, right? And this is one of my best, one of my favorite examples. Lil Wayne in 2008, 2009, that 2000 run, he was running around saying he was the best rapper alive. You couldn't look nobody in the eye and say Lil Wayne wasn't the best rapper alive at that time, right? And now I thought Lil Wayne was the best rapper alive, so I ain't gonna deny that. But at the same time, the power of the word is important. And here is Peter Schrager. Again, this is proof. This just happened. This is June 17th, right? This, I believe, was June 6th, right? So this was right after the camp. There's some positive things, not super positive, but there's some starting to be positive things. And this is what Schrager tried to get. Well, not Schrager specifically, but Schrager and a group of people on GitHub. So let's get right into it.
Complicated issue, because here's the bottom line of it, and I'll give it to the group. In fact, Peter, I'll start with you as our insider. He was a complicated evaluation. There was no one, and my job as the host of the draft is to aggregate all of the opinion that exists. There was no one who had him falling to the 5th round. No one. And I remember the line some would say, well, if his name was Shedeur Jones, he might fall to the 3rd round. He fell to the 5th round. If his name had been Shedeur Jones, maybe he would have gone in the 3rd round, but it worked out in the opposite direction. So when you hear Deion saying this stuff, what do you think about around the league?
32 teams passed on Shedeur Sanders, including the Cleveland Browns, who took a quarterback in the 3rd round before taking Shedeur Sanders, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just completely waited until the 6th round to take a quarterback, and of course including the Las Vegas Raiders, who have an owner in Tom Brady, who at the very least has served as a mentor and sort of a person that he goes to for advice. Here's the bottom line. All that is a race now, except it's really not, because he's the 4th quarterback on the depth chart. And they just had OTAs, and there was glowing reviews from everyone in the media, and we're tracking his passes. But Shedeur Sanders still has to come in and earn every single thing. Do I think the reports about him being ill-prepared? Look, I don't have anyone on record telling me he was wearing headphones. I don't have anyone on record telling me personally that he was on a FaceTime call.
And I want to back this up, because I'm probably going to have something playing over this, but I'm happy. Look.
I don't have
right
anyone
here,
on record telling me
right
he was
here.
wearing headphones.
I have nobody on, and thank you. I believe this. Mr. Bart Scott. And you can see the next. Sorry, I was muted. I was muted while I was yelling. You probably didn't need to hear that anyway. Like I was saying, thank you, Mr. Bart Scott. Okay, because whenever for there to be a narrative to be shifted, there needs to be a narrative that has to be created. Right? This is proof to me that there are narratives, and I don't need to tell you this. You know this. There was a narrative created. There's a narrative created about everybody, about Lamar, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody has certain narratives that the media finds it easier to pull a story from. And a nepo baby, Shedeur Sanders, being actually arrogant and whatever, they thought they had it. The media thought they had their caricature, and they could run with it. Boom. All right, we're going to do Cam Ward, overly confident, great story, cool, but we're not really going to talk about him. But then Shedeur, we're going to do, overly confident, but cocky. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I saw what was going on. But now that people are like, he can throw the football, he's actually, very, very positive towards the media. Everyone's saying that he's a likable guy and a likable person. Now y'all are trying to backpedal, and it doesn't make sense. How do you come again back then? And we're gonna come back to here. We're gonna come back here, right? We're gonna come back to Peter Schrager. We're gonna go do all that, right? Okay, but before we get there, I want to take you back, because I want those words to be on your mind. Both Peter Schrager, but this is Peter Schrager twice. Peter Schrager twice went on first Get Up, right? The smaller show to feel it out. And let's see if I can say some bullshit and see if they'll just believe it. And then he says it again on Pat McAfee, arguably one of the biggest shows, right? And give it a week or two, especially after this the speeding ticket thing. They're gonna have Peter Schrager come back, and it's gonna be the narrative. Look, watch. I guarantee you, the narrative when Peter Schrager is on First Take talking about Shedeur in the middle of June or July for some reason, because you gotta do what you gotta do. Y'all making me have videos to make. By the way, there's nothing for me to talk about, but because y'all keep saying this and changing the narrative, I can make videos, because what y'all are gonna do in the end of June, because we're already at the end of June, in the middle of July, they're gonna come and say, hey, look, there were some reports of, maybe Shedeur not being as prepared. You saw he got 2 tickets in the same month, XYZ. And what they're going to do, they're not going to use that to paint him as a bad guy, but what they're going to do, and they're going to look you in the face, they're going to say, it was probably just a misunderstanding, and people just get his, maybe he's just hard, he's one of those rough around the edges guys. Maybe he's an Aaron Rodgers type of guy. And what you're going to see, and the specific thing is that they're going to try to put him in a box. They're going to try to put him in a place that at first it was, he's an arrogant Nepo person. That didn't work. So let's go over here. But he's actually a human. So, he got a speeding ticket. Now we can't paint this squeaky clean image. They're going to keep bouncing around as much as possible. So let me take you back to what people were saying. Check the dates, April 26th. April 24th. I don't know who Samantha is. I don't know. I was literally just scrolling. I was actually doing it for another video, and I saw this tweet. I was like, boom, this is perfect. Here's Samantha. This is so crazy. This has 231 likes. April 24th, right at the draft, right? So before the draft. This is before he was even falling, right? This is so cringe. Deion is generally one of the top 100 best players of all time. True. His kid is a bozo. Insane how the hype machine really does this now, and next year it would just be some new and et cetera, et cetera. What do y'all see? I get not being a fan of Shedeur. I get not wanting football, but y'all are not going to look me in the eye and tell me that Samantha's and all the other people of the world have these same comments. You have Maze, some random dude, and TJ Moe. We're going to get TJ Moe. He just doesn't like, you don't like black people. It's good. He says, I read somewhere that he showed up to interviews with headphones around his neck and with music playing and kept it playing while they were interviewing. He's so entitled. He's virtually crazy. Nothing would surprise me. It's been one thing after the next. Demonstrating his entitlement. It should surprise no one that the Browns were the only team willing to deal with it. Do you understand? Report Shedeur Sanders sandbag interviews he didn't want to be. I'm so sick of hearing about Shedeur. He is literally a terrible quarterback. Now, this isn't Nebraska fans, so they're probably butthurt about the fact that they got whooped the first year. But anyway, terrible quarterback with one of the worst personalities in all of football. Whoever drafts him will be made fun of forever, and they deserve it. Now, again, here is TJ Moe. Like, this is what I mean by concerted effort. This is not, and I already, you know what I'm saying, we know what these types of people are, right? But having one post like Samantha, all right, maybe Samantha just is not smart and she's very ignorant and she just gets all of her narratives from what ESPN feeds her, from what the people feed you. Do you think that media and ESPN doesn't know that when they force a player on you, some people are going to get mad? No, now my viewers know that, but to Samantha and the people as dumb as Samantha, and a lot of people in my comments are going to be like, oh my God, Colorado, I'm so tired of hearing about it. That's the point. You're a mark. Again, y'all don't watch wrestling because, again, I'm a dweeb. You're not a dweeb probably, but if you don't watch wrestling, obviously wrestling is fake, right? But people who think wrestling is real, we call you a mark. So Samantha's a mark. TJ Moe is a mark. Right? And he's going to his mark audience that already does not like black people. They've never been around black people. And when they see black people, they shiver in their timbers. Okay. So it's easy for this dude to paint an excited post-win player showing his wrist to a student section that was talking that hot shit to him. Right? Because when it's a white player doing it, and no, because I don't like doing this race. I really don't. But I was reading these, and I went back and I read these comments to see the way that people were talking about Shedeur Sanders, the young gentleman that's been going to high schools since back in Jackson State days, pulling up on high schoolers, giving out free stuff. The same kid that on the Colorado NIL school, you know, the same thing y'all like to say, oh man, they get all this money, they get all this NIL. That same Shedeur Sanders who took no money from the NIL Colorado collective, the same Shedeur Sanders who took his personal third-party actual NIL money, because most of y'all don't have a name to get NIL money. I just made a video about Diego Pavia. Nobody knows who Diego Pavia is, and he beat Alabama last year. It's a game. I had people when I made that Baltimore video, and I said, hey, yo, Mike Green has a lengthy sexual assault history. And y'all tried to argue with me. It was only 2. 1 is too many. 1 is too many. If you touching somebody inappropriately one time, hey, dog, you over your limit. Let me hit your punch card, dog. I got to put you in a cage. He's a second-round pick from Marshall who jumped to the first round, one for being the most productive, sack leader, but then for bullying somebody in a Reese Senior Bowl. And you telling me that Shedeur Sanders, based off anonymous claims and a fear that Deion Sanders might say you're terrible at your job, which Andrew Berry, you might be. If you're a coach for the Browns, or GM for the Browns, the track record, you can see what it is, so you're probably not good. Odds on, right? Am I tripping? Am I out of line? But when I see people talk with this level of disdain, that you would have thought Shedeur Sanders was out there switching people down. You would have thought Shedeur Sanders was out here preaching about a Caucasian. I'm not gonna say the word, the big G word. All of those other things that these fake motherfuckers on Twitter be afraid of. All it is weaponizing your hatred. That's it. In the same way that they're weaponizing Shedeur's popularity, of course I'm gonna keep pushing that throat. We get clicks. Angel Reese. Y'all tired of seeing Angel Reese? You just want to see Caitlin Clark? Sorry about it. You hate Caitlin Clark and you just want to see Angel Reese? Sorry about it. The way that the world works is I'm gonna shove it down your throat. And you saying terrible things like the entitlement. They're so terrible. Having bad faith arguments about a person who gives back to his local community, who gives back to his other teammates. I promise all you go do that with somebody who's done something. I guarantee you I'll have way more sympathy for you. But you look stupid. And on top of that, when y'all go 2 months later and y'all try to pull up the rap sheet of Shedeur Sanders, and all you can pull up is showed his wrist after a win. He made a tweet about a teammate that openly and publicly criticized his father. Okay. And 2 speeding tickets. If that's what you have as your Shedeur hate train, Merry Christmas, man. Then you probably don't like a lot of NFL players, is my point. Right? Don't give me that bullshit that Shedeur is so entitled. He's this, he's that. Y'all remember when that Deuce Vaughn, y'all remember when Deuce Vaughn's dad was crying and everybody tried to make, I'm sorry, I'm a Texans fan, so I hate the Cowboys. That was the most pansy I ever seen in my life. They had a grown man crying, talking about, you want to come to work with dad? And ain't nobody said about that 5'2" running back from K-State going to Dallas Cowboys. Everybody was fucking kumbayaing, huh? Damn. It just don't make sense to me. It's almost like the program is meant for you to hate him. So I'm sorry. I know we went off in the weeds, but look how they was talking about this man. That's crazy to me. And speaking of somebody just flipping narratives, Look at this motherfucker ain't got no shame. Colin Cowherd talk about knowing what to do. Here he is June 4th. He ain't got no shame about him tweeting out no reason to overwork a future Hall of Famer. Let's get him some rest for week 1. Clearly being playful, right? He clearly didn't believe the Shedeur hype because again, I got receipts. And the receipts say Deion has worked for so many media outlets and has so many friends in the NFL. Nobody wanted to give him the truth. Your son's okay. He says Deion Sanders' presence made the hype around Shedeur overblown. April 28th. I remember it. Hey, it's Deion's fault. Hey, he can't read a defense. Hey, this, that, all these other things. And then Peter Schrager is trying to tell me it's because of unorthodox draft processes when I got random white motherfuckers talking about how he's the bane of the existence and he's the Antichrist. Y'all just please try this with somebody else. Try this with somebody who can't recognize a pattern. Go do that in the WNBA. Y'all gonna have fun with that shit. Keep pushing little Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese bullshit, but I'm not gonna sit here. I'm a Texas fan. I'm trying to get disappointed by Nico Collins and CJ Stroud this year, but y'all are just blatantly lying. I'm watching y'all try to turn, and I know y'all keep comparing him to Colin Kaepernick, and in some ways because of the collusion only, sure, right? But y'all are trying to turn him into a Colin Kaepernick. The media, Colin Cowherd going from this. And then the coaching staff cannot deny what's happening. This is June 12th.
Story time, Uncle Colin. So there were these two scientists back in like the 60s for 3M, the company 3M. And they were trying to create this super strong adhesive for the aerospace industry. But even though they're scientists and smart guys, they ended up creating a much weaker adhesive that was very removable. And that became Post-it notes, which are probably more important anyway. But the point being is they stumbled into wild success. And I think that's what the Cleveland Browns have done.
Stumbled into wild success. It went from, hey, Shedeur is just okay, he's mediocre, right, to then, how many days is that? June 12th? That is well, that's 2 months, right? 2 months, hey, he's the greatest of all time. Then he gets his ticket, and now Colin Cowherd says, when you fall to 140, you can't do it.
Yesterday, Shedeur Sanders got caught speeding over 100 miles an hour. He's a quarterback. Mike Tomlin often says 2 is a trend. Can't screw up 3 or 4 times. 2 is a trend. Just 2 times. I'm not sure if I need 2 times when you're a young quarterback. 1 bad judgment turns me off.
I mean, come on. Come on. I get it, dog. We're bored. We're bored. I'm making a video, like the video that's about to be coming out. I'm making a video reviewing Shedeur Sanders' old games, speaking to the importance of it, the times that he did good and didn't do good. We're gonna actually start talking about some football. We're gonna get to some throwback stuff. But when I got the old media trying to lie and say people weren't talking crazy, when I see people immediately after the first sign of mistake jumping on him, saying he's a young quarterback that just made a bunch of mistakes, I can't even take it seriously anymore, dog. Remember what they did. Remember what they said about Shedeur Sanders, because it's not going to stop, and the flip going to keep flopping until the end, man. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about down below in the comments. Go ahead and like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy football content. I'm sorry for yelling in your household, too. I got a little excited, huh? I got a little too excited. But other than that, man, you continue to be great. You be phenomenal. We'll see you next time. Peace.